The Lance Armstrong documentary. So
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
It's recorded on my television.
So I'm gonna watch it tonight. But basically, I mean, we both, I'm assuming, know, what it's about. We both lived in the time. Lance Armstrong,
the most dominant athlete in his sport
at the time.
Well, at least in the sport of cycling, and how that unraveled. I mean, you talk about a cancer survivor, a guy who was dominant, fought back from adversity, fought for his life, ran a great foundation with the Livestrong Foundation, and then for that all to come unraveling because of what he did. I'm excited for that one. We have another documentary coming up documenting the home run race between Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa.
Now that one I'm going to be glued to. No one's going to call me that whole day because I'm just going to throw my phone in the lake.
That's going to be great. You could also just put it on Do Not Disturb and have to throw it.
ESPN's like on this binge right now where they're just trying to make documentaries out of people who just effed up their heroism.
The 30 for 30 series has always been fantastic. I found myself watching the XFL documentary and just being like,
that was one of the better ones.
I really enjoyed it. They had the one about Miami University football was great.
Yep.
I'm trying to just think of other ones there's just so many of them.
The Bosworth one was cool.
I liked Bo Knows. Bo
Knows
was one of the greatest ones. And you're wearing the Royals hat, so Bo Knows.
Yeah, I mean ESPN they're knocking it out of the park. But this Lance Armstrong thing, I find his story complex because it's natural for everybody to say, like I do, like I think he's a cheater. I don't think we should be celebrating a guy who did that. But at the same time, the guy did come back and survive cancer, and that story resonates with millions of people around the world who have seen cancer in the face, beat it, and have gone on to live daily lives. And I feel like part of me respects a guy who goes through that, but at the same time, I can't get it out of my head that this guy built a whole foundation on his ability to, win and dominate the sport. Like he literally dominated. Like we just talked about Michael like 20 minutes ago. He dominated
in cycling.
And it was all a lie.
The only reason I as a kid gave a damn about the Tour de France was like because he's an American.
What else?
And he's the best. And then like he left for a couple of years, or like where he it wasn't that he was fighting cancer. He just left for a couple of years and then came back and still competed at the top level. The Tour de France is not easy. It's mountains, valleys. It's the speed. It's
high
the conditioning,
stuff, low stuff, lots of pedaling, things you and I would not want to do.
I mean, they're like, okay, well, here's the first day. It's the light stuff. It's like 110 miles, and I'm like, I've done 110 miles on a bike maybe in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I'm cool off that 110 miles.
And then you got to do it for 20 days consecutively.
Even if you take the 0 off, that's still 11. That's a big number.
I could see myself doing 11 and then coming home and crashing.
I did an 8-mile hike like 2 weeks ago and I almost died.
Get back to the car. Okay, somebody else drive. I need. Oh, where's the gator?
Oh, take the shoes off.
Oh, turn the AC on.
But he was probably, we talk about Michael at the time, like he was the Pied Piper. Like everyone wanted a piece of him.
Mid 2000s.
And I think the one thing, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I saw bits and pieces of it. I was over at my father's house and he had it on. The one thing that I think a lot of people will take away from this is that I think one of the reasons that everybody wanted to keep the lie going that was involved, like the trainers, the doctors who were supplying the stuff, the money that was coming from this was crazy. And
all the endorsements.
There's also an HBO doc where he threw a lot of people under the damn bus. People lost their jobs over this. People lost their livelihoods, and he had the power, and he was basically like, I will threaten you if you try to destroy what I built off this lie.
As you slowly pull the curtain back on life and see everybody who's involved with this. I mean, I talk about the endorsement money. I remember reading Sports Illustrated as a young man and seeing a Subaru ad. And it was just the Subaru logo, and it had 7 stars on it. And all the caption was for each of his titles, congrats Lance Armstrong. And I'm just like, that was so poignant to me. I'm like, you didn't say what you're a company for. You just said, congrats Lance Armstrong. And how many people went, oh, Subaru, okay. And then they look it up online. They're like, oh, well, they're a car brand. Well, if Lance Armstrong's, and I'm a big cycling guy, and I ride my bike, I'm gonna buy a Subaru now. I wonder how many millions of dollars of revenue those companies brought
just off
in.
Marketing alone.
I mean, everybody had the Livestrong bracelet, and that was $1.
Oh, I had those.
I had 3 of them, because I'd wear them, and then I'd be like, all right, cool. After 3 days, and then I'd be like, oh, where the F did that go?
You have to think they at least made a cool $1 million off the yellow bracelets.
Oh, on the low, and it was like, oh, well, you're not wearing a yellow bracelet, which means you're for cancer, and it was just kind of like, oh,
you got it's like that Seinfeld episode where Kramer gets sucked in to wear the ribbon.
It's a guilt trip.
Wear the damn bracelet.
Wear the bracelet. There was I think it was a South Park episode where it was like there was different color bracelets for everything. It was like white was for like Caucasian awareness, which is like it's South Park, and then there's like there's a light green one that's for colon cancer, and he's got like all the bracelets on. He's like I think it was like Randy was just like it's like I care about everything.
Do you think there's ever gonna be a point in time where Lance is forgiven completely, or at least he's not looked at as the public as a pariah? Well, you always have some kind of people that will defend him.
Oh man!
Because I'm gonna get to this McGuire thing in a minute with the defense thing, but like, do you think there's a contingent that would actually like supports him still, like sticks up for him the way they used to?
I think the Live Strong Foundation, which obviously sorry, but I think all the work he has done for cancer research does give him a better public light than say someone who like let's take Michael Phelps. Yeah, okay, he eats a lot of calories, he smokes, and he's really good at swimming. Let's say he had done something, he comes out as a cheater. And
I can't imagine Phelps.
But what has he done other than like
smoke some weed?
Smoke some weed. That. But like, let's say he took human growth hormone. Let's say he took steroids and won all those medals in the Olympics representing the U.S. I don't think anybody could forgive him for that.
Well, Lochte did it, and you never heard from Lochte again.
Lochte's a POS as it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think Lochte had like the foundation, like obviously that Phelps did, but you saw what happened. Like they basically banished him to Siberia.
Ryan Lochte is Rob Gronkowski in a skinnier body. The dude's a meathead.
Without the rings, man. Without the rings.
Well, the championships. Michael Phelps, we got it as a team. Yeah, but Michael also kicked your ass in the pool.
He was like the human mermaid.
It's ridiculous.